Good morning. I've got a crazy Indian neighbor that probably just arrived and thinks that we all like his music, but we don't, but that nobody has told him that yet. I'm demonstrating here where you can manually control this frame that I built with two motors. I now put in a mirror so you can see what happens on the other side. Over there you can see that there's a reflection, and if I use the buttons I can move it around simply by controlling the motors. That's done by that chip down there, which is a device that allows you to input logical signals like +0 to +5, or I believe a little bit more even, and get out 16, 24, 36 volts. That is enough to control the motor. You can make a video game out of this. Of course, this is used if you do this manually, then it could be interesting if you want to every now and then get some extra sunlight into your house. You build a rig like this on a place where the sun does shine, on the north side of your house, and you have this little thing, let's say push buttons in your house, and then one afternoon that you would like to have some sunshine, you simply point the mirror so that the sun shines into your house. If you want to do it manually, of course you can also do it automatically, and that was what I was working on, but one of the parts of the system broke down that I need to communicate with the computer, so I had to stop. And I thought, in order to be able to demonstrate different uses of this frame, and basically the whole idea that it's a good way to pretty precisely control where the sunshine goes. It's not bad, I think. And you can do it even in more detail if you if you look really carefully to what the motor does, because this is the axle. No. This turns a lot more often than the actual output, because it's a geared motor, so it has 4 RPM. But this has turned, let's say, several times before the big axle makes one turn. And if you track the movement of that, let's say the actual motor axle, then you'll probably be able to control it in more detail. So let's get some sunlight in that window there. Yoo-hoo. So now I'll mount, I guess, the Fresnel lens, the spot focus one. But okay. Well, this is going to be exciting. With Indian music. Are we going to be able to burn the little piece of wood by using the controls? Oh, oops. Fuck, most definitely. I'm getting it out of the focal point. So this is what happened the other day, is that I basically had this rig set up like this, and it was the sun was moving, of course, and this thing was measured up correctly, so it's really the focal point is right there. Let's try it again. Okay, see if I can move through the focal point. Other side. Yay, safe. So this is well, that wasn't. If I move it a little bit, this is what happens. Better get it out of there, because it's going to burn. You can move it through the focal point. This is not very useful for photovoltaics. For that purpose you would have to be like halfway or a little bit further, a little bit closer to the lens. I'm going to see if I can get that done. Can get that set up. But this is just a demo, and you could see that it's easy to move it in and out of focus. It's like 1 square centimeter. So if this would be tracking, you could actually track it based on the extreme temperature difference that you get in the focal point. which is interesting, of course. Once the temperature starts dropping, you could start moving the rig, but you would have to have temperature sensors that are capable of handling, let's say, the 400 degrees or something like what we're talking about here. Anyway, so this is just the rig with the push buttons, motor controller, and well, maybe when I get the microcontrollers back online, you can do this from a distance. But of course, there's nothing that that can can be allowed to burn. It sure is a nice game if you have this. Write your own name in sunlight, in a piece of wood or something like that. But not yet. So next is the linear focus lens. So now I've got the linear focus lens set up. Can't really see it, but if you put your hand behind it, you can see that. Oh, I'm burning my hands a little bit. But you can see it's actually the focal point is a little bit more to the front. See if I can move this thing as close as possible. Let's move like this. There you can see. Now, but this is because it's not it's pointing too high, so I have to move it a little bit. And the more I move it up, I had pointed it too low. The more I move it up, the bigger part of the rod of the beam will be hit by the linear focus. I'm not sure if this is a fire hazard. I'm finding out. See. Yoo-hoo. So now I have the whole thing lit up. It's not completely well. I guess it has to do a little bit like this. So now it's very bright. Still not perfect. It has to be like this. Okay, this is towards the focus. Ka-choing. So you see that you get one very bright line, and the next step is to put PV cells in this focal line.